come, come to the land of no return. Oh, why she and a little dog is all she left behind. Playing on a woodpipe or some skirting line, songs that mine sang. Bringing back again, bringing back the days of love and joy. Indio boy, you gotta learn to know, little Indio boy, that life's always so. Let the morning sun shine through your heart and the world's no longer dark. Indio boy. Someday when you're grown up, you'll get children of your own. Children, it ain't no shit just to be a woman's son with a heart of gold and honest soul. You stand the evil of the world. Indio boy, you gotta learn to know, little Indio boy, that life's always gold. Let the morning sun shine through your heart and the world's no longer dark. Indio boy, you gotta learn to know, little Indio boy, that life's always gold. Let the morning sun shine through your heart and the world's no longer dark. Indio
That song came to me. Never heard it before. That was called Indio Boy by the, what is it? Goom Bay Dance Band. Holiday in Paradise. Christ. It was from Christ. I've got Christ all over this place. Christ is our source. It's where we're from. I took some notes because I need to stand by what I say. I can't waver. I can't fall into the trap again. And I won't. But I need to let you know, in all seriousness, just how grave our situation is on Earth. Now I get it. I didn't quite understand the feeling I was getting when in 2016 my room filled up with tall beings, B-E-I-N-G, or wait, beings, B-E-I, whatever. They were beings, not beans, beings, light. And they filled me with too much, way too much, for a highly sensitive person to handle or cope with all by herself. And it's been a very, very difficult journey. It's been lonesome. I have alienated everybody from me. And yet I kept going. I kept walking, kept talking, in spite of the, well, hatred, really. I offend people every day. There's a difference between being highly sensitive and highly offended. I joined a group on Facebook called Highly Sensitive People. You know, empaths that feel a lot of mood and energy. And there's a huge difference between the highly sensitive individual and the highly offended individual. One is a psychopath. That would be the highly offended. And I have a lot of highly offended people following me. And they think that they're hiding, but they're not. Nothing is hidden from Christ. Nothing. When you get into the realm of your original source, white magic begins. You have a sense of purpose and you stick with it. You don't waver. You don't fall down because somebody stuck their foot out for you to trip, waiting for you to fall, wishing you would fall. Make a mistake, then I'll speak up. I'm not saying nothing to you, my subscribers say. I'm not saying a word, I am just watching you. Christ. At the present, my ego is broken. My heart, it won't stop crying. There is nothing more to do but wait for a dire end. This imagination man has created on earth can only grow in one direction, down. And it has. People are authorities over other people. They get educated to be authoritative over other people. Or they get rich and think they're better than other people. Or they have more than others, and so have this false sense that they're entitled to more. They earned it. They worked hard for it. Or maybe they didn't, and God just handed it to them on a silver platter because they pray 5 times a day. in one direction or the other. I've had to tell my story in a way that I could cope with, because what I was downloaded with by the beings of light was impossible to fathom. It was impossible to imagine. And that's the problem. This is the problem with all of us, really. We just simply can't imagine. We can't imagine other people's experiences either. We can't imagine anybody else other than our own selves. When somebody comes to me and says, "Oh, Nana Marie, nonsense. You need help. You need this. I heard about this new supplement that might help. Or you need this other person to help you because you're really crazy." I'm sorry, Nana Marie. I'm just watching you to fall. I took notes. I woke up after a good sleep, 7 hours, but extreme pain. I slept and I rested a bit. I watched videos. I cleaned up accounts. I sat outside in my flower garden. I had 2 good meals. I felt good enough. I felt peace. And this is what I do daily is, how do I feel? Never mind what I think. How do I feel? And I use my feelings as a compass on what to do every day, every day. And my feelings have been to leave this channel and start over without my story because it's not good enough. I'm not interesting enough, and I'm wrong. But most of all, people cannot imagine. They just can't. And so I stay out of the realm of truth in everybody's mind. I am the problem. I should just get help. And you can dust your hands off and walk knowing you're confident. Confidence is important in ego. And if you can have confidence and be authoritative over others, and you're confident in your position against them, be my guest. What you see is what you are. What you see is what you get. So if you can't see me, or feel me or trust me and my story. I'm not giving anybody else's story here. I'm giving my story, my own story. And you know better. And you can point out my flaws and where I'm wrong. And you're confident. You're the saddest person on earth. No matter how much money you have, no matter how good you look, no matter your image that you put out there for people to see, to show yourself as you want to be seen. This is me. I look like this. I am in a fancy suit. I am in a costume here. You can see what I am. I am telling you what I am. No, you're not that. You're not that at all. You're wearing a costume. It's what's inside of your heart, of your thoughts, of your fantasies, of your wishes upon others that hardens the heart. It is the visions and feelings that folks have against their fellow man, woman, child, that they are collecting. That's their afterlife. Not a dream, not their own dream. They don't have dreams. They're going into the hustle. They're selling things. Whatever they're selling, that's what they stand by. That's where you'll see the confidence in what they're selling. They really believe in it. Gold, silver, extra food in case there's a famine, supplements in case you're sick. There's something for you. And somebody will tell you, take this, do that. I'm sure that it worked for me. Most of the time they don't even say that. They don't even take what they're telling people to take. No, it's the spirit that is confident in me. I don't have an ego. It's gone. I don't have a costume for you to wear. I don't even want to show you me. To sit and judge and look and wait like a predator to pounce on when I'm wrong or when I have something in my teeth or when I slip up and say something that goes against your traditional values. The traditional values here come from the year of our Lord, the Godfather, I call him, when time was invented, when we were reset to zero, remember? 2024 years ago, we were reset to zero time. And we talk about before Christ and we talk about after Christ. But we never, ever, ever talk about the meaning of Christ. Because the Lord that we worship on earth won't have it. The traditions and values of the Godfather are that we don't question our faith. We just believe in what we are read or what the people say, the pastor, priest, rabbi, clerk, authority figure comes along with a confidence in their ego. And to me, the bigger the costume, the bigger the lie. The more obvious a costume, the more obvious a lie. So I can't judge people based on their costumes. That would be stupid. I go inside my own spirit, Christ. We are all born Christ. You know that by now, I hope. Every new infant born is your Christ. To nourish, to love, to raise with contentment and happiness and nourishment for the child's mind, body, and soul to develop. We don't have a hope in hell if we sacrifice our children to outside gods who know more than mother, than their creator. They know better how to raise a child who will have it all. Be rich, be educated, join the party. You're welcome to come into the party. Just go to school, study hard, stand your ground, don't let the other kids get in your way as you plunge on through your teens and early 20s sitting in a classroom, learning about life, but never, ever experiencing it for yourself. And so people come along with all of these ideas they learned, they say they heard about it in school and they studied it. So they would know better than me. History, wouldn't they? I didn't study history. They did. And they have the subscribers and they have the audience because they have the letters behind their name and they have a suit and a tie and the hair and the look and image of, I don't know, Einstein. Those professors sometimes do look like Einstein. Maybe they want to look like Einstein. They do want to look like Einstein. Whatever you're wearing today, this is what you want to look like and present to the world. The image, your image. So I don't know what you're wearing or how you go out. and present your image, you need to know it's not the image that is counted here. It doesn't matter what you do. Go ahead. Have fun. Have a party. Enjoy your life. Please do. This is a party. This is a fantasy. You can be anyone you want. And I really want everyone to enjoy themselves while they're at it. Like I do. I really enjoy my new role. When I'm not broken, when I'm not lied to, spit on. Do you know what it's like for a highly sensitive person who's with Christ, which means with me and my child, like I'm a child, to hear other people say horrible things to me and judge me? A highly sensitive person will cry. And I do cry. Often, often. I cry every day, guys. I do. Yesterday was out of this world crying. I'd had it. I'm done. I don't want you anymore. Where do I go from here? I do love play, and I love words, and I love poetry. And my story and my testimony is true. I own it all. Everything I've said, I stand by it. And I'm standing by not my ego. So I have to stand by Christ. Children. Children are our only hope. They are Lord, not a man in the image he thinks God is. Not at all. A Christ is each infant, and we are responsible individually and collectively for encouraging love. And if love isn't possible, we don't hang around campfires and complain and whine and be offended by other parents and what they do. We help. We help. When I was an unwed mother at 18, the first thing that happened was the judgment, and it was all against the mother, me. The father, the seed, walked away. He can walk away and look good for some reason here. Men can walk away, and the child, the Christ now, is the responsibility of mother. Without the influence of a male role model, other than, it's okay to walk away. It's okay, kids. We walk away. When somebody makes us offended, or we can't cope anymore, men walk away and teach their children to do the same. If the father is berating the mother and making the mother miserable and unhappy, and then goes to work for her to look after the children, her frustration and pain will transfer on to the children. Mood is transferred to children. Mood, feelings. They can sense. Children are highly sensitive beings without ego. They know the truth. They can see their mother lying like a dog to her friends or wherever. They see her lying, hiding her truth. They see their father lying, and they're teaching their children it's okay to lie. It's okay. I'm lying here. You know, you can see me, kids, lying my head off here. As I tell my friends how wonderful things are. Or I tell my friends stories that aren't true. Or, worse, I lie by omission. I never tell my story. If you don't tell your story, you can't be called a liar. You can't be judged. Nope, you're just sitting there. Safe. Safe from judgment. Dare I open my mouth? She says. Absolutely not. A part of her says, absolutely, don't say anything. You're going to get judged. You're afraid of that. Don't do that. And so people don't stand by what is right. And they don't stand by what is wrong and say anything. They're quiet. They're hiding. But nothing is hidden except the secret thoughts, the secret feelings, the lying feelings when you say, well, I'm just fine. Nothing's wrong. You're the problem. Look at me. I'm okay. Look at you. You're just a whiny, cryy, crazy person. I got through the full moon. I've had white magic happen every day here. White magic is when things feel magical. They happen easily and without effort. And things fall on your lap. Anything you need. You need food? Here. You suddenly have an extra $200 to go buy some food. Or you need a ride somewhere because you can't get there on your own. And suddenly an opportunity presents itself and makes it easy. Or everything is just on cue and on time, and there's nothing to worry about. That's crazy. That is crazy for me. Nothing to worry about. No, nothing. you got peace in your heart. And I had to get peace in my heart only one way. There's only a one-way ticket to peace. Christ. You think I mean worship, don't you? When you hear the word Christ, you go, oh, Christ. Is she going to read the Bible? Is she going to give me some kind of parable and bore me to tears? When I'm busy in the hustle, I got to make some money today. You think I have time to sit around and listen to things like we can dwell in hell or admit we fell? Christ. Christ is humble. Christ is a child willing to be vulnerable and expose themselves until fear is introduced, until they're afraid of themselves, or they're afraid of their own thoughts, or afraid of their own feelings because their parents say they're so wrong. They have to do it this way, that way, this way. Go to church. Go to school. You're making me panic, you stupid child. You're making me look bad. And they are. They really are. And you are. You're hideous, really. When you teach your children how to lie, when you teach your children how to alienate other family members. I have 6 brothers and sisters, 2 different families. There's 7 of us in total. My mother had 4 children, and my father had 3 more. My mother had 2 with my father, 2 with stepdaddy, and then my father had 2, which is my brother and I, and then had a step family after. And what this has taught the children, the siblings, is it's okay to walk away and start over with kids and families. That it's no big deal. I mean, people are abused. People are offended. People do the wrong thing and deserve to be abandoned. And they offend me, and thus they will not be a part of my life. And I will tell my children, listen, I have a sister out there in Quebec. Bat shit crazy. Now, I know you know her, and I know you know that she was always very giving, and she always tended to everybody's feelings before her own. And you know she was generous in how she treated her nieces by giving them all makeovers when they turned 16. You know these things about her, but let me tell you the other side of this little witch in Quebec. Children, and then the children say, wow, yeah, I can see that. Because they can. Once you point out flaws in people, well, there they are. Everybody can see them. Those are flaws. That's not true. That's not real. Those are flaws that we can see and point out and tell our children. how crazy some people are. And it's just so sad. Just so sad. I set in motion my emotion every day. I don't wake up and start thinking. That's a big mistake. I ask myself, how do you feel? And I use my feelings as an emotional compass to what I want to feel. Because I'm in charge of my feelings. And I am responsible for being Christ, which is happy, content, and manifesting magic, white magic. I can dream a dream of you if I wanted to be you. But when I dream of floating in the sea and baptizing me, cleansing me from inside out. Please do, please. I cried out the other day. I said, this turmoil inside of me where I want to abandon ship. I don't want to help. I don't want to speak. I don't want anything to do with the thinking in this world. I'm over it. And I won't be abused. My Christ inside is like a child, but not at all stupid. Our children are intelligent beings. Our children are wise beyond us. Our children teach us. My son tried to teach me. He said his name was Mark. I now know Mark is the witness and testimony in about the 300s, I think, at AD of the year of the Lord, Godfather, when we got boxed into time. 300 years after they crucified a man named Jesus for talking about Christ, another man came, and it was the same spirit of Jesus. But you know him as Mark in the Bible, in the Gospel, as a witness, the same as Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Those are testimonies of what they witnessed in the Sermon on the Mount by Jesus, which is just pure love and joy. But we can't get that in the King James. We're not going to get that love and joy because it's put out of context. And as soon as we put fear and time and law into Christ, we have a slave. And then if that person goes to church regularly or school regularly, this becomes embedded as their reality. And they imagine their reality, and they believe in their reality, and they live their reality out. And it's a horrible reality, truth be told. It's about money, war, It's about corruption at the top that has trickled down into every single soul, where it's okay to live a life of a hustle, to be kind to our customers, to give generously to a charity, but to go home and neglect the love waiting. If you can't imagine it and you can't fathom it, your mind is in a box. Because if anything can be imagined, it will be manifested. It will be. That's what Marx says. That's what they all say in the red. You got to read the red in the King James. Don't read anything else because they've inserted Moses, law, fear within his messages, giving the impression that there are certain rules to live by if you're going to follow this Bible. You have to go by the rules. So I just thought I would tell you about the real Jesus, and hopefully you will begin to see yourself and recover yourself as this channel started, soul recovery with the consciousness of self. Get out of other people and their heads. Stop thinking you know them. If you haven't been there, you haven't experienced something, you have no opinion. You have no right to an opinion. What you are expressing is a judgment. And it's coming from within you. Okay, so I'm just going to tell you then. Jesus was a man. He did not want to go to school. He was raised by a single mother. I believe Mary had Jesus when she was 13. I don't know how or why, but I do. And I know that we do come with a story before we are born. It's always a planned story. Always. Because we're Christ. We're intelligent beings. And we come into a mother that we choose beforehand. And we make contracts with them. But when we're born into fear and shame of our feelings and our trust in our mothers, when we're born into such nonsense, we become soulless robots and dangerous to children. Going by the book of Satan, which is the book of Torah, by the way, which is the first book that they studied. It was in books. They're scribes. And they write things down. And they see that when they write things down and they embed things, it actually comes true. And what they have discovered is black magic. The rituals that can cause pain and suffering. The rituals that do cause pain and suffering. And you can become addicted to this pain and suffering and think, oh, I gotta be in pain and suffering. That's the way Jesus was. And then I just pray and go, I know you suffered more, Jesus, so I'm just going to ignore my pain and suffering because you suffered more for me to save me from my sins. That's not true. How can that be true? How can any other entity save you from your own thinking and feelings, your own judgments, your... No. So what Jesus was doing is he's talking to these people, right? And I'm looking at Mark 7, if you want to go and take a glance. I'm not going to get too heavy, and I'm going to paraphrase with the context of truth in it, according to the Christ within me. Like, you can believe I am with Christ or not, doesn't matter. I'm standing firm now, with or without you, because it's not about you. It's about what I'm doing, who I'm standing by. Children are my Lord. Without a child, I have no hope for eternity. I have to find another family every single life. Because Jesus was also about reincarnation. And that's not even in there. That's in a book called the Book of Thomas. There is so much, I am told, I feel, and I know, based on my life experiences, visits from beings of light, and all-knowing as Christ. I know that we manifest everything from what we speak and write and embed in our consciousness. And if we don't manifest it in this life, that will certainly be transferred to the next life. And a cycle will be repeated in a karmic cycle where you will be the one suffering in ego, where your ego will be the drug addict, the mental case, the drunk, the homeless person, the starving person, the victim of a major crime. Nobody's getting away with anything. Nothing is secret or hidden. And so the pain people are feeling inside is coming from within themselves. And there can be no peace when we lie, cheat, and hustle while ignoring what is matter at home. So Jesus was there and he said, this is on 7:3. No, sorry, 7:2. Mark, and it's not in the red. I'm giving you the background a bit. And when they saw some of his disciples eat bread with defiled, that is to say, with unwashed hands, they found fault. For the Pharisees and all of the Jews wash their hands often and eat not, holding the traditions of the elders. The traditions of the elders: we don't eat pork, or we wash our hands, or we kiss walls before we eat, or later on we begin to say grace before we eat and thank God, not Mom. No, no, we don't thank Mom for her services at all here. We thank her sons who go to war. Thank you, thank you. Because they're protecting you, right? They wear the costume. You can see, oh, look, they're protecting me. From what are they protecting you? Anyway, I got off track. But that's basically the Pharisees and the Jews have traditions and values that came from their elders, and they want to uphold them. And here along comes this dirty little guy eating food without this tradition. Well, in Mark 7, verse 6, he answered and said, well, Isaiah prophesied of you hypocrites, as it is written, these people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. You see, the Jews didn't talk about Christ coming. They did. They said Christ is coming, gonna save y'all. You gotta believe. It's just not happened now, or yet. That's what the Jews say. And then he goes on with 7:7. Howbeit in vain do they worship me, teaching for the doctrines, for the commandments of men. For laying aside the commandment of God, ye hold the tradition of men, as the washing of pots and cups and many other such rituals prior to having a meal. Paraphrase that a little bit. But I say, if a man shall say to his father or mother, it is Korban, that is to say, a gift, by whoever thou mightest be profited by me, he shall be free. What does that mean? Put all your effort into Jesus? No. 7:12. And you suffer him no more to do aught for his father or mother, making the word of God none effect through your tradition, which you have delivered, and many such things that you do. Hearken unto me, every one of you, and understand. There is nothing from without a man that entereth into him that can defile him, but that what comes out of him, that is what defile the man. Any man who has ears to hear, let him hear. Are you so without understanding also? Do you not perceive that whoever this thing come from without entering into the man, it cannot defile him, because it entered not into his heart, but into the belly, and goes out the draught, purging all meats. For from within, out of the hearts of men, proceed evil thoughts, an evil eye, fornication, murders, thefts, wickedness, deceit, blasphemy, pride, foolishness. And all these evil things come from within and defile the man. Does that make more sense? Like, Jesus wasn't afraid of what he ate or how he ate it. Better enjoy it, I say. Yeah, every kid loves a really good meal. Enjoy it. Don't be afraid of it. I used to be so afraid of food. Now, in my highly sensitive state, I know what to take and not to take that makes me feel funny. Because there are poisons that make me feel funny. And as I've been sick and disease ridden, I've had it all from A to Z. You know that. Every disease. I've had lung cancer, COPD, a mild form of MS, endometriosis, no, my thyroid, rheumatoid arthritis, pericarditis, myocarditis, and heart failure, all diagnosed to be in me, according to the doctor. It was last August, a year ago, when I woke up with the sensation of every bone in my body was broken, and I could not move. I could not lift a blanket off my bed to turn around. My bones were broken as far as my imagination was concerned. Every bone was broken. And I lived that out. Sadly, I did go for help, and I held myself back for a while until I gave my head a shake and I remembered who I was and that I can heal. I can't heal if I'm thinking about disease. Then I'm allowing a poison to come into me, into my heart, by allowing a thought to sit and dwell in me that defiles me. And so what I've done, especially easy with the heart failure thing, I caught on pretty darn quick that there's a new fluid coming out of me with heart failure. It's not from the lungs. It's fluid from the heart that comes out, and I cough it out, and then there's a lot of saliva, water in me, and I have to spit it out, and that's what I do. I have a bucket, and I spit it out, and then the pain from the water buildup goes away. You see, that's what heart failure is about, creating a lot of pain from water being trapped inside, not getting out. And you know what? If you Google what to do in heart failure, it will tell you, do not cough it out. Do not cough it out. Really. And I knew by then, well, I feel I should do the opposite of everything I'm told around here. Like turmeric. I can't stand that stuff. The popular New Age stuff. The crystals, they're satanic. Yoga's satanic. It's all tradition by elders, carried forward. Doing things before you get is of Satan. And black magic comes from curses. It can come from a mass group think and imagination. They can manifest hell for you. The secret is to not allow um, their thoughts to enter you, or you become them. I can't become them. I can't. No. And so I have to not think like them. And I don't. Anyway, I don't. I can't think for Satan anymore. I have to rebuke what I learned here. I have to go in reverse. My hypnosis has to be of my own making. It has to be self-hypnosis. And as a clinical hypnotherapist, I can do it. I'm not selling clinical hypnotherapy here. I'm not selling anything. I'm not for sale. I am throwing out ideas if anybody wants to pick them up. Or maybe you know more. Maybe you're more Christ than I am. That's possible. You're more childlike, softer maybe. I always said my father and son, they're just like me. One was a drunk and the other was an addict. I'm the mental case in the family. And I always thought, well, I know you guys are pure of heart. I knew that. But, why are you expressing yourself like a loser? Why are you drunk? Why are you addicted? Why won't you do the rules that we have set out here? What's wrong with you two? That was my judgment. But meanwhile, I'm also knowing that my father and son were far more gentle than I would be. I mean, I would have a 40-pounder of vodka every day if I could. I would have every bit of drug you can get me if I could. But that wasn't my journey. That was theirs. And people judged them. I judged them. Not knowing that they had a story to live out for themselves. And they're witnesses to not what defiled them. Because their hearts were not hardened ever. They never turned their back. They walked away, but they were open and soft. They didn't, um, like for instance, my dad didn't go for custody and take the kids away from mother. He would have appreciated a visit. He came with his car and he honked and he honked and he begged. And mother called the police and called him a psychopath. And you can tell by the maniac way he's honking out there. Who's the hardened heart there? The judge. And this is the message. He who has not sinned, throw the first stone. Don't wear fine clothes of silk and call yourself guru or master or father. For others, you are not. You lead by example your children. And if you have even more followers than those children, that's wonderful. If they want to be like you. But most of these people in costumes don't want you to be like them. Because if you are like them, then they are not supreme. And so what they say to you is they can have it, but you can't. You don't do enough ritual. You don't buy enough gold, supplements, crystals, Bibles, whatever. When you have the proper ritualistic stuff, then you're ready to go. Do you pray in Jesus' name? I don't care what you're praying about. I want to know if you're praying in Jesus' name. It won't work if you don't. That's not the God source of energy I know at all. That is of Satan. And so somehow the book of Torah started in the Garden of Eden and Abraham and all those fairy tales about man in the image of God, which excludes children and women. And you have to grow in to be Alpha. We are in Alpha. This is the age of Alpha. And what is missing from Alpha? What is missing? Think, think, think. Ah, feelings, mother, comfort, love, joy, homemade cake, cookies and milk. No, 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 no. Now it's about chemistry. It's about artificial intelligence. It's about texting people. It's not about connecting emotionally. It's artificial world. And people are living out a fantasy that is dire, dire consequences for their next incarnation. Because you will be immediately reborn. And if you have no family that you recognize, or they don't recognize you because you held secrets and weren't yourself at all, you won't be recognized. And you will find another mother to be born into. And I have to be honest, The mothers are becoming slim pickings. They are holding back. They do not wish to be born into Alpha anymore. That's a natural consequence to forsaking first mother and then sacrificing her children for this Godfather, to be obedient to the Godfather. It's about showing your children how to alienate from other family. Siblings are supposed to be your support base. From cradle to grave, there is your tribe. There it is. What'd you do with it? Did you throw your tribe away? Are you too good for them? Are they too good for you? This is all the fantasy. It's all ego. It is not you. And you become you again as soon as you die. You are back in the spirit of Christ. And there you are, Christ, full of love, full of understanding, full of joy for living. And then you look around and you can't find people. You're just sort of standing there. And then suddenly maybe a guide will come by, a spirit guide, and show you some things. A lot of people have had these experiences. They call them near-death experiences. And the guide will show them not just the image of their life. No, it's not the image at all. It is the feelings you've left behind. It is the feelings that you left within others. The judgments, the criticisms, how you made people feel. Suddenly, you're a highly sensitive person. Suddenly, you feel, and you are horrified, like you were in some kind of alcoholic blackout or something, and you say, nope, that was not me. I did not do that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You forsaked your parents, you forsake your children, and you forsake your siblings, and you adore your customers. You work for your customers. You work for your hustle. And when you're owned by customers and money, your creations and your love wither away. And they don't come back until you tell them to come back. You want them back. You need them back. It will be too late. This is the opportunity of the Alpha generation to welcome back into the fold the Christ Mother, the Creator and consciousness of love, comfort, and joy. But as I started off my video with Indio Boy, Christ, sending me a song, another Christ, my son, sending me that song in white magic And I wondered, I thought it was saying, use your voice, use your voice, use your voice. But no, it was India Boy, India Boy, Indio Boy, Indio Boy. And remember, I told you I was gifted with 4 past lives with my mate, Jesus and Mary, Mary and King James. This India thing I never quite put together. After the castle, we were in India, living very, very poorly in sewages. And that song was my reminder. And then we came again. This time, my son was going to be an idol star and influence the world. But we found out real quick, oh no, it's Satan's world in the music industry, and you must sell your soul to participate and play. Elvis lasted until he was 42. He was on drugs or he would have left earlier. He got fat, extremely miserable, unhappy. He started with gospel and he got taken away. And he died in 1977. Same year music died to me. Because suddenly the music was more hardened, heavy. There's no good feelings coming from it at all. There wasn't much good feelings coming from Elvis either. Truth be told, he wasn't writing the songs. And then, came Trevor, May 27th, 1978. And you would never, ever guess. He was raised by an unwed mother at first, who introduced another father, who introduced evil into his consciousness behind my back. I couldn't see. When things are hidden from the mother and the child lives in secret, the child is not safe. The child will never be safe. And my son was not safe again. And he left this world trapped in flames at 25 years. Now, these 5 lives that I was downloaded with may or may not be true, whatever, I don't know. What I do know is how I feel. And how I feel about Jesus, really. The beginning for me is the true message of Jesus was about not what you eat, how you eat it, anything like that at all. It's about your heart. What is the condition of your heart? What are you meditating to? Are you begging? Are you demanding? Or are you Christing? Which is to say, baptizing yourself, cleansing yourself off, removing any hint of dark shadow in you, in your heart, not your belly. I don't care what you eat, supplements, nothing. But what's in your heart? Do you love your flawless body that you were gifted with at birth? Do you love your life? Do you love the people you're surrounded with? Never mind if they love you. The most narcissistic personalities have the most friends. They need supply. That's what keeps them alive. They need their supply to keep worshiping them and making them the hero, making them the ones that have it all. They need you for that. The Godfather needs you for that. My child needs me for my heart. And I was unable to share my heart or my consciousness with my son. And he had no idea who I was when he crossed over. He was instantly in another dimension here on earth and getting himself prepared to be reborn. When my spirit was so strong and sensitive about his goneness again, my spirit in my sleep, in my sleeping body, went to the dimension he was at because I knew him, even if I was lobotomized and totally unaware of his life. I knew his heart. I remembered it from when he was a baby, from when he was 4, and he told me he was Mark. And he was very confused at why I didn't know all about reincarnation. Why I don't know what's going on. And I had to tell him, here, we'll go to school and I'll teach you a few things. We'll go to church. I'll get you a father. And this is all perfectly normal earth behavior. And the risk was, and still is, when you go into ritual and law, are you forgetting your heart? When you go into rituals and laws and artificial intelligence, which is fake, which is not human, it's not, then you're hardening your hearts away from Christ, away from childhood, away from love, away from joy, and everything white and light and good that can be imagined and can be manifested is not manifested at all. And all we do is spiral down, down, down into the Godfather's well of hell. Fathers were leaving in droves when this song came.